I am so tired today. Dealt with so much bullshit today. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. We have shows to finally get back to discussing. But first, one quick thing to mention. Some major breaking news from the world. Yesterday there was like an 8.7 magnitude earthquake that happened in Russia. It's causing massive tsunami warnings on like the West Coast, Japan, Hawaii. And I mentioned this because remember a couple months ago when my friends were planning a Japan trip? I was about to go with them, but then I decided not to because it would have been too hot. I don't like the heat. When I was in Hong Kong in March, I already found it to be rather hot. So imagine in July, the summer, absolutely not. So I opted out of going with my friends to Japan because of just how scorching hot it would have been in July. And when was this? My friends left this morning. Earlier today at, I think, 1 in the afternoon. Not really in the morning, but close enough. They had to leave to get to the airport at the morning, okay? So earlier today, my friends, they went to the airport and boarded a flight to Japan. They're still in the air right now. They haven't even landed in Japan yet, as of me doing this. And, well, can the timing be any more unfortunate? Because, they're flying out to a flooded Japan because of the tsunamis. Well, hoping the best for my boys. Hoping they have a safe trip and, their vacation time's not wasted. I think one of my friends texted, obviously before the flight even took off, that he was getting updates and... Hold on, let me see. He said, some of his hotel is actually underwater. Yikes. So, best of luck to those guys. Now I'm very glad I didn't go. My parents kept on going like, we told you so, son. We told you so. We told you you shouldn't go. Because, look, we were right. Around this time of the year, Japan is more likely to have earthquakes and natural disasters. You see, son? It's a good idea. It's a good thing you didn't go. We told you so. They just non-stop kept on bombarding me with that stuff. It's like, alright, what do you want me to say? Jeez. If anything, I chose not to go myself because of the heat. I'm so tired. I could rant on and on and on about what happened today and why my sister is an absolute hoe. But if I do that, then I would be here for the next hour talking about that, and we would get nowhere. So without further delay, let us finally discuss these shows. Ugh. I also have to wake up early for work tomorrow. I woke up early this morning. And Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. Just know I had to wake up early this morning and I got no rest. I came home, I had a very small opportunity to take a quick little power nap, but clearly that wasn't enough. You know, I don't really like taking power naps. You get a teensy bit of rest, but then, you know, you get woken up abruptly while you're mid-resting. And then you feel even worse. You feel sluggish, like, oh, I was in the process of recharging. And that got interrupted. Now I feel even worse. Anyways, a quick sip of water, and then we shall begin discussing. If that sounds weird, don't worry about it. And that's another thing too. Today, I forgot my water bottle at work. Or forgot my water bottle going to work. So I sat there from 10:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon with no water. No anything to drink. So I sat there for 4 hours with no hydration. And then it hit me like, oh yeah, I could have just gone out and bought something to drink. I was told I'm literally allowed to do that. I just, you know, lock the door and put up a sign that says like back in 15 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, I could have done that. Well, keep that in mind for the future. Alright, let's finally talk about these shows. We have 4 shows to go over. At long last, we're continuing. We have the Ironheart finale. Yay. We have the Squid Game finale to season 3. I'm so low on energy. We also have episode 3 of The Boys and Arcane. Season 4 and 2. What? You know what? It's been a while. Let's put on some music first. Is it any surprise lately I've been addicted to some of K-pop Demon Hunters music? I've been particularly stuck on Takedown and What It Sounds Like. Okay, what kind of song should I put on? What kind of music should I put on? Well, I can't think of anything, so here you go. Alright, let's talk about this Ironheart finale, because we all are so excited. First of all, the DEI group is actually not in this episode. So in episode 5, when Parker fired them, they were essentially fired from the rest of the show, the final episode. In a way, I want to say good. All of those characters were awful. Nobody liked them. None of those characters were likable whatsoever. So yeah, it's pretty funny. we don't even follow up on them and where they're at. What happened to them? Parker just fired them, and they're just gone. We're never seeing them again. At least if Marvel and Disney are smart, we will not be seeing them again. Oh, hold on. Hey. Stop. Lie down. Stop it. Lie down. More licking. Now, stop. Sorry about that, folks, if you even heard that. My dog was in here and he was licking his arm. He keeps licking his arm. There's something on his arm. The last time we took them to the groomer said it's gotten so bad that spot on his arm started pussing. So we have to make sure he doesn't lick. I don't really want to put a cone on him because he's old. I don't want his potential final days on Earth to be stuck with a cone on. So for now, just monitor him and let him live comfortably for his remaining days. I'm not saying he's gonna die soon, which I'm hoping not. But he's definitely showing signs of aging. He is an elderly dog. He's 13 years old now. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but, I do know deep down that time is almost up. Now, who knows? Maybe he can live for a decent while longer. I don't know. You never know, right? He could be gone soon, or he could still be with us for a couple more months. Regardless, I just don't want him to be uncomfortable with a cone on for however much time he has left. Anyway, so back to it. The episode opens up with a continuation to the flashback we opened up with a couple episodes before, where Parker and his cousin John were robbing that house, who we now know is the house of Parker's father. So we see what happened after that sequence. Parker messed up, he runs down, he's being chased by cops and authorities, and then a figure greets Parker. A door opens in literally the side of a wall, in a tunnel. Parker walks through and he meets this guy. They make a deal. Gee, that sounds like a good idea. So, yeah, we have Sacha Baron Cohen finally showing up. And you know what? Who cares? Why am I even hiding this? He is Mephisto. I'm kind of sad that we never saw him be painted red. We only saw one glimpse of Mephisto's true form, and that was in the distorted reflection of a spoon. But yeah, I'm kind of sad we never got to see him painted red, and we're probably not ever going to see him be painted red. Damn, I actually would love to see this guy return as more Mephisto. This dude's a great actor too. Have you seen The Dictator? One of the funniest films I've ever seen. One of my favorite films of all time. So yeah, we cut back to present day. Riri needs a plan to fight Parker and his hood, but she's also reeling from the loss of her Natalie AI. She tries to bring it back, but can't, so then she's just like, alright, I'll fight Parker first, and then I'll come back and figure out how to bring back Natalie. Parker and Zeke, they're eating, they have all this fancy food. Because Parker now owns the house, all the money, all the fancy food. Zeke doesn't want to eat. He's just like, I find the idea of eating another living creature's babies or whatever, like eating caviar. It's like, boy, shut your ass up and just eat the damn food. And that's kind of what Parker made him do. It's just like, eat. Because remember, Parker can command what he does. Yada yada yada, whatever, this show sucks anyways. Moving on. So yeah, Riri flies over, tries to find Parker to fight to get that hood away from him. And Zeke is there because Parker ordered Zeke to fight her off and probably ordered him to kill her this time. So Riri fights Zeke first. Of course, her suit is able to scan Zeke's body with all of his bionics, but notices that there's one spot unupgraded, the groin. So because Parker has control of Zeke, they come up with a plan to free him. If Riri kicks him in the nuts, his body will go into panic mode or whatever, where there's a small window she can override Parker's control and give Zeke control back of his own body. So they do just that. This guy just can't catch a break. You know? He tried to live a normal life, an innocent life away from his father's legacy. Well, this brat shows up, gets him arrested. He gets manipulated to have his body mechanically enhanced. He gets controlled by this lunatic in a hood, and in order to free himself, he needs to get hit in the nuts. This guy just can't catch a break. They also tease a rivalry between Riri and Zeke, which we will never see. I also realized why Zeke kind of looked familiar, aside from him playing Han Solo. Which, I'll be honest, I didn't even know. I never even watched that. He kind of looks like Shane Dawson, doesn't he? Only with kind of a more square jaw. He kind of looks like Shane Dawson. Well, that did nothing. Ignore that. Hold on. Stay here, okay? No licking. Okay, so yeah, they tease the rivalry between Riri and Zeke. She's just like, are we friends again? And Zeke's just like, I have tens of thousands of weapons in my body and all this rage. We're not done, Riri, but we're cool for now or whatever. And let's face it, by this point, we all know that Ironheart isn't a superhero show. It's a super villain origin story. Because, if anything, Riri Williams, Ironheart, is a full-blown supervillain. She is awful. She's a horrible character. So, we got a villain origin story from a villain origin story. Good job, Disney. Anyways, yada yada yada, nobody cares. Riri fights Parker. Ironheart versus the Hood. Long story short, she wins. She removes the Hood away from Parker. During the fight, Parker's body actually morphs into like this demonic being. Kind of cool, but too little too late, I guess. Anyways, she strips the Hood away from him. She also uses magic as well. Just making sure he's not licking his paw. So, as Riri defeated Parker and was about to leave with his hood, she walks out, and then she enters that same place where Mephisto's at. Oh yeah, and also throughout the episode, we see scenes with Parker and Mephisto. Nobody cares. Yeah. Also throughout the episode, I don't know why Mephisto jumped from having an accent to not having an accent. I don't know. At least they acknowledged it. They're just like, since when did you get an accent? So Mephisto talks to Riri, tells her how impressed he is with her, how interested he is in her. We get flashbacks to moments of Riri Williams in the MCU, her moments in Wakanda Forever, as well as this show, to kind of, I guess, insinuate that Mephisto was watching her at these moments. And of course, with Mephisto's smooth charm and dashing looks, he's able to convince Riri to, make a deal with him. So what did Riri agree to? What did Riri ask in return to make a deal with the devil and literally become an agent of Mephisto? Well, it's actually incredibly stupid. I didn't pick up on it at first, but then I saw a breakdown and I'm just like, oh, wow, that is dumb. That is pretty stupid. And the implications are actually pretty wild too. So, we get scenes flash forward, you can tell, because Riri has this poofy afro, so her hair is different, implying a time jump. She's working throughout her magic and spells and whatnot, and then Natalie is standing there. She's just like, Natalie, run diagnostics, but Natalie's just like, what are you talking about? And then they actually touch. They shouldn't be able to touch because she's a holographic AI program. That meant she's real. So Riri goes in for a hug, and then we see, demonic patterns. We see K-pop demon hunters, demonic patterns on Riri's arms forming. So, what I saw in the breakdown was Riri asked for her AI Natalie to come back. But Mephisto actually brought back the real Natalie. The one who died who knows how long ago in a freaking drive-by. So, wait a second, you're telling me Riri did not ask for her actual friend to be revived from the dead. You're telling me she asked the devil for her AI replica to be brought back? She didn't even ask for the real person. She asked for the AI. And I guess Mephisto, just a kind gesture, was like, I'll do you one better. And actually brought her friend back from the dead. Wow, that's stupid. And another thing, dude, too, the implications is that Mephisto can just bring people back from the dead. The hell is the point of a soul stone then? Which, by the way, we never really saw do anything in the MCU. Sure, we briefly got to see the Mind Stone control minds, we briefly got to see the Ether change reality, Time Stone obviously manipulate time. The Reality Stone, Power Stone. So we briefly saw every other Infinity Stone do something. We never really saw the Soul Stone do shit. The whole point of the Soul Stone is controlling life and death, the soul. The only thing we really saw the stone be used, aside from in the fight against Doctor Strange on Titan, is, snapping the finger and soul, death, killing half the universe. That's really all we saw the Soul Stone do. So if Mephisto can just bring people back from the dead, the hell is the point of a Soul Stone then? Oops. And then I also saw people online, because of the one line Mephisto said, that he has made hundreds of deals with people throughout history. Who did he say was one of them? Shakespeare? So, the question comes up, who else has Mephisto made a deal with? From people we've seen. Could it have been Tony Stark? Obadiah Stane? Wilson Fisk? Who else has Mephisto made a deal with this entire time that we don't know of? Anyways, Riri is now an agent of Mephisto. Good job, girl. You wanted to be a hero and you made one of the most swell supervillain origins. You managed to make everyone dislike you. You were already disliked in the comics, and now the show has only propelled your dislikability. But there is also a post-credits scene that leads nowhere. Parker goes back to that chocolate candy herbal shop that Zelma works at, and he asks her for help, magical help, supreme magic levels of help. So, I also heard online that the original plans for Season 2, Parker and Zelma were gonna team up, Parker was gonna get some magic back. Riri was going to have this plan to outsmart the devil. That would have been Season 2. But obviously, thank the Lord for this, there is no Season 2. There better not be. We already got lucky in this timeline that She-Hulk did not get a Season 2. I think it's probably a safe bet that Ironheart will not get a Season 2 either. Considering just how hard Disney tried to bury this series. Released it all at once, almost all at once, just to get it out the way. Just shat it out and be done with it. And you know what I say to the fact that there's post-credit scenes and teasing a continuation? To that I say, shame on you, writers. Shame on you, producers. Shame on you, everyone who worked on the show. You had how many years to rewrite the ending, reshoot the ending, re-edit the ending so that it's a closed story with no continuation, nothing, no hanging threads, no teases for anything. You had all those years to do something, and you just let that ending dangle off the edge, and it will never be resolved. You know what? Shame on you. Remember, Ironheart finished filming 2022? So it finished filming 3 years ago? And from what I hear behind the scenes, they re-edited the show a dozen times. They tried their best to get rid of the show, but contractually they had to release it. But they just kept on holding it in as long as they could until eventually they just couldn't take it anymore and just had to shit it out. You had all that time. You had nearly 3 years of post-production. You chose to make the CGI and visual effects stunning. I'll give you points on that. The special effects look great. You had plenty of time to polish that up. But you chose not to rewrite the ending. You chose to leave a cliffhanger ending. And to that I say, shame on you. Shame on you, writers. Shame on you, editors. Shame on you, everyone who worked on this show for deciding to leave that in. You really pre-screened your show, all 6 of your episodes, and really thought you were gonna get a Season 2. You really thought what you had was so great, there's no shot it will not be greenlit for a Season 2. You really thought that. Yeah, shame on all of you. Well, hopefully Ironheart, well, there you go, the piece of crap that was Ironheart. Minor details, nobody cares, alright? Minor details about the episode, nobody really cares. Oh yeah, there was one thing, actually. This one is actually pretty cool. The fact that Riri thought that Mephisto was Dormammu, and Mephisto just laughs at the idea. I don't know, that to me that's kind of a boss move. That's kind of a boss move right there, the fact that Mephisto just laughs at the idea of being compared to Dormammu. Did I even say that right? Mephisto laughs at the idea of being compared to Dormammu. I don't know, I just find that kind of like a boss move right there. Like, he knows Dormammu doesn't even come close to his power level. I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. The best thing about the entire show was Mephisto, and he, let's face it, he didn't really do shit. And he was in, maybe 10 minutes screen time altogether. Once again, it's a bit of a shame this is where Mephisto debuted. It's a bit of a shame that this is all we got of him, and it's especially a shame we are likely never going to see him again. Well, I shouldn't say that for certain. If any character were to come back who originated in this show, or who was even a part of this show remotely, it would be Mephisto. I don't know, I'm hoping he will come back since it's goddamn Mephisto. We'll see though. Ironheart, y'all. There you go, we're done. This garbage is done, it's out the way. And you know what? Let's hope. Let all of us hope that this truly will be the final trash, garbage, woke project of Marvel Disney that they put out. Please, Lord, let them finally learn their lesson and give us quality again. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, the future actually looks somewhat bright for Marvel. Now, it's not blindingly bright. It's just, you know, a dim light at the end of a very dark hallway. Because I'm not going to talk about the film right now. I'll talk about it another time. But you guys remember how I was not excited whatsoever to watch Fantastic Four. All the rumors, everything made it seem like Fantastic Four First Steps would be a woke mess. Well, after watching the movie, I gotta say, it's actually not that bad. There was little to no woke elements in there. So, with that being in mind, let us hope that this is truly the final absolute crap that Disney puts out. We move past the woke garbage, and we go back to basics, which is good content. Thunderbolts was pretty aight. It was a little slow paced, but I still enjoyed it. Fantastic Four was really good, in my opinion at least. And up next is Doomsday, right? I don't think there's another Marvel film coming out before that, right? We have stuff about Spider-Man Brand New Day, that sounds great. Punisher, Hulk, potentially, you know? And you know, one thing, I'm really glad that the movies are starting to connect again. Captain America Brave New World, we all know what production hell that went through. The final film was an absolute mess, and let's face it, that movie had nothing really special about it. But it did connect to Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts connected to Fantastic Four, which will all connect to Avengers Doomsday. So, I'm rather glad that the movies are starting to connect again. Instead of all of them just being one-offs with, let's face it, little to no connections whatsoever. So you had no idea what was going on, timeline-wise, no idea what took place when, what already happened. It really does seem like Marvel is course-correcting. Now, I'm sure we've all heard this before, Marvel's finally changing back their ways to what they used to be. I don't know, I'm actually seeing proof with my own eyes. Now, I'm still hesitant, of course, I'm still holding up my guard. What? But yeah, I feel like I am actually seeing proof. They finally shat out Ironheart and just got done with it. Remember, that was supposed to come out like 3 years ago, so it coming out now as a super woke project barely counts. It was meant to come out years ago at the peak of the poison that is woke Hollywood. So aside from Ironheart, which is just a remnant of a very ugly history, a very ugly moment in Hollywood's history. Yeah, future projects look promising. Anyways, that's enough rambling, that's enough glazing that Marvel probably is getting back on track. Alright, let's move on. Alright, here's the big one. Here's the one you were all waiting for. The Squid Game Season 3 finale. The Squid Game series finale. You guys have been waiting for me to discuss this for a month. My bad. I meant to discuss it earlier, but then things kept on happening. Alright, first let's put on a different song. Oh my god. Stop the ads. Okay, the ads just aren't gonna stop, I see. You see all this internet stuff about online stuff now needing you to show your ID? You need to prove your age with ID in order to access certain sites. Like Spotify, Reddit, YouTube, they're gonna push that out soon, maybe. A friend of mine said they saw Discord doing that also. This world, I'm gonna be honest, this is my opinion. I feel like this world we live in is on the verge of collapse. I really do. Why, oh, not the most important thing. I'm just waiting for Hollywood and the gaming industry to implode on itself. I don't want that to happen, but given its trajectory, it kind of seems like that's where we're going. Who knows? Maybe if both industries has a implosion, it'll get them back on course. No overbloated budgets, no stupid pandering. You know, getting back to good stuff. The government is absolutely insane with their mandates and whatnot. Gee, the government's corrupt. Who would have thought of that? Yeah, I kind of feel like this world is on the brink of collapse. Well, that's the world we live in, folks. This world's not fair, but hey, whether we like it or not, we were all born into it. You know, aside from all this stuff, the earthquake and tsunamis that happened. My friend also posted earlier, one of Russia's volcanoes started erupting after the earthquake. Yeah, we're done for. Armageddon is upon us very soon. Alright, let's talk about the Squid Game finale. Ooh, what's his opinion? How did he think the horrible ending is? Ooh, I can't wait to hear how he thought about the awful ending. First, I want to say that my prediction was damn near spot on. Well, I can't even say that. One of my predictions was right. And that's the fact that Gi-hun dies. Yeah, I was predicting that. And the more the episode went on, the more obvious it was. So anyways, this supposed awful, terrible, horrendous, repugnant finale that ruined the entire show. The awful ending that everyone absolutely hated. I was watching the episode, I was expecting something really bad to happen to completely throw everything off, ruin the pacing, ruin the direction. I was expecting something really, really bad to happen. And nothing that bad happened. I was watching the episode, and I thought it was fine. I don't see what the big deal is. You know? I watched the episode, and I'm thinking to myself, this episode's not great. It's not excellent by any means, but it's also not awful to the point it ruins the whole show. I'm kind of thinking, like, why is everyone making such a big deal about this? All you motherfuckers out there making this finale out to be the absolute worst ending in cinematic history. I'm just thinking, what's the big deal? I don't see why it's so hated on. Now, don't get me wrong. I by no means like the finale, nor do I think it was a great finale. Was it a good ending? No, not really. Was it awful? Did it ruin the entire show, the entire season? Well, actually, it ruined a storyline for the entire season, but did it ruin the whole season entirely? Did it ruin the entire season as a whole? I don't know. Not really. Not to me, at least. Anyways, so we're now down to our top 3. We have Gi-hun, Myung-gi, and the baby. And don't forget, Myung-gi, I swear if I'm getting his name wrong. Myung-gi is the baby's father. Now, this part, I kind of don't like the writing, the direction they took his character, because it was completely out of nowhere. Myung-gi's character made a complete 180, which really made no sense. So, you see the issue here, right? Because, of course, the writers just had to give us juicy drama to get invested into. These characters just can never get a happy ending. Given how dark and bloody the show is, our characters just can't get a bloody Can't get a bloody good ending. They just can't catch a break. It has to be drama and everything bad. So, they're on to the last platform. One person has to die. That is Gi-hun, our main character, Myung-gi, the father to the baby, and the baby. So there are 3 characters, one must die. You know, before the episode, I was predicting maybe Gi-hun will sacrifice himself so that the baby can grow up with her father. I felt like that made the most sense. Because it kind of wouldn't make sense for Myung-gi, you know, the goddamn father to the child, to sacrifice himself and not want to raise his own kid. But that would have been a harder path to go down, writing-wise, because he would have had to convince Gi-hun. Wait a second. No. If Myung-gi sacrificed himself, he would have to convince Gi-hun, I'm the father, and I'm gonna sacrifice myself so that someone I don't really know, that being you, Gi-hun, can raise my kid. That would have been stupid. So I feel like the most obvious choice would have been Gi-hun sacrifices himself, so not only the baby would survive, but also Myung-gi, the father, would survive with his child as well. That's what I thought would happen. what ended up happening instead is Myung-gi completely lost his mind, was willing to sacrifice his own baby and also leave Gi-hun on the other platform to die. That way, both die and only Myung-gi wins. The sole winner who gets all the prize money for himself. It's like, wait a second, what? Hold on, what? Your entire motivation, the entire 2 seasons, season 2 and 3, your entire motivation was to protect your family. Get back with Jun-hee because she's pregnant with yo baby, but she died. She died, and then your motivation became protect your baby. And now out of nowhere, you suddenly just snapped and want to sacrifice your own kid as well so you get all the money. Wait, what? Your motivation the entire time was your family, and then you suddenly just turn 180. What? I don't know, that abrupt character shift came out of nowhere and made no sense to me. You know what I was thinking though? Because he was threatening Gi-hun and the baby. He wanted both to die so that he can win and keep all the money for himself. You know what I was thinking? I was like, yo idiot, are you forgetting that's your child? Even if Gi-hun dies, and only you and the baby survive, oh my god, this... You gotta love ads, right? Even if the baby dies, that's your baby. Yo, idiot, you would get the money anyways. What, you think the baby's just gonna control half the money? No! If it's your kid, you get all the money anyways, dumbass. And also, yo moron, did you even consider this? This is a much darker idea, but still, it's an idea nonetheless. That baby kinda has no birth record. So, even if you won, the two of you won, there's no birth record. You could technically get rid of your baby, as bad as that sounds, and keep all the money. Idiot. You could have just done that. Why'd you stupidly risk your life? Whatever. The idiot dies anyways. Gi-hun does one final heroic Space Jam jump. Grabs a knife as well. They fight, yada yada yada. They hang off the ledge, literally. Myung-gi falls off and dies. But, in their scuffle, no one pressed the button on the floor. So that meant the game has not started. Oh, of course they had to add in that loophole. That technicality. So because the button wasn't pressed, the game hadn't started and Myung-gi's death doesn't count. So now there's only 2 contestants left. Gi-hun and the baby. And obviously, Gi-hun being the good person that he is, he's not gonna sacrifice the baby. Gi-hun doesn't care about the money anyways. So what does Gi-hun do? He sacrifices himself so that the baby will live. Man, let me tell you, if I was Gi-hun, I swear to God, this may sound bad of me. We all know I'm going to hell anyways. If I was Gi-hun, yo, I would say the hell with that baby. I'm kind of thinking if I was Gi-hun and I already have a daughter out there I need to raise. Never mind the fact that she moved to America, has a stepfather, blah blah blah. If I was Gi-hun, I would think I already have a daughter out there I need to be around for. I need to raise my daughter. I need to be able to support her. Even if I'm not presently with her all the time, I still need to be in my daughter's life. I would say, man, the hell with that baby. You know? I'm sorry. As bad as that sounds, I'm sorry. But yeah, Gi-hun dies. Rest in peace to Gi-hun. He served as great memes for, what, 5 years now? When did Squid Game come out? My favorite meme is still the smile. Seeing Gi-hun smile and frown side by side. Anyways. So yeah, the game's over. The baby won. Alright, on to the other side. So, Jun-ho met up with that father guy, and he was able to find the island. Because the father guy pointed out where it is. I still kind of question, like, why didn't you already know where the island was? You literally set foot on the island, realizing this is where you were shot. Doesn't that mean you already found the island? The hell? Whatever. So, he called the Coast Guard, and they should be on their way. So, Jun-ho, he scuba dives underneath, scuba dives in, and he runs around looking for his brother, who, frontman, actually goes over and picks up the baby. But because the Coast Guard is already here, and the island is just equipped with everything, goddamn, they're able to sense on their radar that it's the Coast Guard. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the stuff they do on that island is rather illegal. So they evacuate the island. All workers evacuate the island. They start this countdown that would self-destruct the island, blow it up, and get rid of any evidence of illegal activities taking place. The sad part is, had Gi-hun waited just a little bit, had he waited a couple minutes, the Coast Guard would have arrived, and he may have made it out alive. I mean, sure, that's kind of hard to do. Gi-hun just standing there with the baby, contemplating how much longer he has to live. If he just waited a couple more minutes, he would hear this, nuclear alert siren, not have any idea what's going on. The guards and VIPs would probably get off the island because they were instructed, fuck the game, forget everything, get off the island. Leave oh god. Leave the last two players. So Gi-hun would have no idea what's going on. He would probably run for his life, not knowing where any of the exits are. So who knows if Gi-hun would have survived had he waited a little bit longer. No, whatever. She was trying to get rid of all the records of her friend, I guess, the father guy. She also reads up on her own record that her family is indeed deceased. She loses all hope. She's about to end herself, but then she hears the baby and decides not to end herself. Like, goddamn, this operation is thorough. They keep tabs on even their workers for a long time, for weeks, months. They keep tabs on you forever. It's like, damn, these guys are thorough. I'm impressed and also terrified, I'm impressed to their level of dedication, but I'm also terrified. Like, damn. You know very well people like this exist in real life. Maybe not to the level of all these kid games, but people keeping tabs on your every movement, documenting all of it, you know very well people like that actually exist. Anyway, so the moment Jun-ho encounters In-ho, the front man with the baby, he's just like, why? Why did you do this? Why? And no answer. And then, welp, Jun-ho has to run for his life, because the island's about to explode. So yeah. Front man escapes with the baby, the island explodes, the operation's over. And then we get a cut to, 6 months later? We get a time jump forward. We see the father and the cancer patient daughter, well, they're doing fine. No-Ul actually might have hope that her family is not executed and dead. So she travels to, I think, China, whatever. Give me a second. Let me just double check. Ugh. Just checking and see what my dog's doing. Let's see. We also see someone, it's never revealed who, someone went to Gihun's building, took all the cash that was on that bed. I don't think we ever saw who did that, actually. Let's see, Junho meets Mr. Choi outside of prison, where he was there for the last 6 months. And then they question who could have taken that money. Well, Mr. Choi and that friend of his, they're planning to renovate the motel and start a business. Good for them. Junho goes back home and sees that the baby was actually left there. See, when I tell you the entire episode I was expecting something bad to happen, I was really afraid Junho was going to go back to his apartment and his mom was going to be dead. Thankfully, that's not what happened. Junho came back and found the baby was there, as well as a card with all that moolah. So Junho now has a kid to raise and has, what, 45.6 billion won? Damn, good for him. And then we cut to, if there's nothing else, we cut to America. We see the front man go to Los Angeles, go to Gihun's daughter's house, which, on one hand, I can't believe he actually knows where she is, but on the other hand, given how thorough the operation is, it's like, I'm not surprised he knows exactly where she lives. So, Frontman delivers a package to Gihun's daughter, saying Mr. Song unfortunately passed away. Well, at least he didn't leave it ambiguous for his daughter. At least he told her. So, poor kid, her father's dead. So, he hands her a box, and inside the box is his 456 player uniform, all bloodied up, as well as a credit card. Or actually, it wouldn't be a credit card. It would be a debit card with all that money. I'm kind of thinking, why would you give her that? Not the money, the uniform, the gamer uniform. Why would you give her that? Why would you give her her father's bloody uniform? The hell? There was nothing else you could have given her? I mean, giving Gihun's next of kin all the money makes sense. But giving her the bloody uniform, like, damn, you didn't have to do that, man. That was kind of unnecessary. I saw people online say at least the frontman still has humanity left in him, where he personally delivers to his quote-unquote friend, his daughter, delivered the message himself in person. So you know what? I can respect it. Not only delivered the message himself in person, but also hand-delivered the money to her. You know what? I respect it. And then as Frontman gets driven down the LA streets, we see in an LA alleyway white people doing the exact same thing. But yeah, we see white people doing the envelope slapping game. And then who turns around? It's Kate Blanchett. I didn't expect to see Kate Blanchett in the finale teasing Squid Game America. I don't know, it kind of seems like Kate Blanchett is gonna be a part of the Squid Game America spin-off. And I tell you, aside from the VIPs, simply just seeing white people and hearing people speak English is so unsettling in the show. We're so used to seeing Korean people, hearing Korean be spoken. Whenever we hear English, it's so out of place. Even if it's set in America, even if it's white people speaking, just simply hearing English in this show just feels so unnatural. You know, unless it's, say, the frontman speaking English, because at least he has an accent to go with it. But just hearing American accent English be spoken is just so out of place in this show. So anyways, there you go. At long last, finally, the Squid Game Season 3 finale. The series finale. Before the spin-off. I did see online people question what was even the point of the entire storyline with Junho and all of those hires, all of those hitmen looking for the island, because it led to nothing. And you know what? I can give you that. That storyline really did lead to nothing. Damn near 3 seasons, the entire show, Detective Junho served no purpose. He accomplished nothing his entire 3 seasons of the show. So, okay, I can give you that one. What was the point of that storyline? Because it led to nothing. I'll give you that. But I kind of don't see why everyone else is complaining so hard about the ending. Are you complaining that Gi-hun died? Even I was predicting that. Are you complaining that, you know, Netflix is selling out the IP and they're gonna milk it with a bunch of spin-offs? Are people disappointed that, you know, the white people and English in the show is just so out of place? I don't know. Altogether, I can see why people dislike the ending, but to say that it ruined the season, ruined the show, is like, come on now. I feel like that's kind of far-fetched. Once again, I'm not saying that the ending was good. I'm not saying I liked the ending. I'm just saying I don't see why it gets dogged on so hard. Why it's hated on so much. I can get disliking it, but I just don't understand complaining about it to the point saying that it's such a bad ending. Horrible ending. What a waste of a climax. I don't know, I kind of don't see that. Now, could they have given us a better ending? Yes, of course. But, you know, whenever I rewatch this show, I'm not gonna think, oh, that's where it's leading. You know how people, whenever they think of Game of Thrones, they only think that it was ended horribly? Well, I don't think I'm gonna think that when I rewatch this show. I don't think, oh, I'm watching this and I know it's gonna lead to that ending. Anyways, there you go. Squid Game Season 3 finale. It is what it is. Give me just a moment, folks. I would ask what you guys thought of the Squid Game Season 3 finale, but I already know the basis, the base consensus. What majority thinks of the ending. Ugh. I got a shiny Snubble in Pokemon Go yesterday. It happened right when I was eating dinner. I was sitting here at home eating dinner. I opened the game and bam, shiny Snubble. Neat. Oh, I gotta wake up early tomorrow for work. Tomorrow is gonna be a busy day at work as well, because I actually got appointments to deal with. You know, earlier today, or maybe late last night, there was a little bit of drama with Pokemon TCG Pocket. The new set came out, Sea and Skies. Ho-Oh and Lugia, that came out. And it turns out the immersive art actually had plagiarized artwork from fan art. That's a first. Can you believe that? TCG Pocket's official Pokemon card designs had plagiarized work. Ain't that crazy? And for now, until they give us new artwork, the cards are going to be blank. What a world we live in. You know, if I was an artist, a part of me would be honored that, hey, they thought my art was so good, they put it onto their official work themselves. But I can also understand, if I was an artist, I'd be a little pissed off, like, wait a second. Sure, you own the design, the IP, everything, but, you know, fan art, you can do whatever you want with fan art, and they didn't ask, they don't compensate, nothing. I can get that as well. Alright, let's move along. So, The Boys, Season 4, Episode 3. I'm not gonna lie, this episode was a mess. Pacing-wise, structure-wise, this episode was a mess. I was indeed warned ahead of time. that season 4 opened up with very strange pacing. Now that I've seen the episode, I can agree. Like, yeah. Watching episode 3, I'm just like, did I miss an episode? It feels like there's a bunch of stuff missing in between episodes 2 and 3. Because remember, episode 2, they went to that truth convention. We got introduced to Firecracker. There was that Splinter character, the human centipede character, jacking it off to Firecracker. Forgot her name there. Remember, that was episode 2. Episode 2 was also the episode where A-Train swooped up some information for Huey and Annie. So that was episode 2. Episode 3, I was watching, I'm just like, did I miss something? Wait, how did we get here? It feels like a lot of things were left out. Because we jumped from that to all this in the episode, and I'm just thinking, what happened? Wait a second. It feels like a lot was missing. So, yeah, I was warned ahead of time that the pacing was bad at the beginning. Now that I've seen it, it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I need to think of a music to put on. Wait, how does it sound here? I was looking up the ultimate version, but then this Brawl version came out. How does it sound here? Damn near the same. I should have figured. I think. Let's see. We finally see Joe Kessel back. He wasn't in episode 2. And he's actually giving Butcher a little baggie of white stuff. No, it's not that white stuff. It's, I don't know, it's like a drug to sedate, maybe knock out Ryan so that they can forcibly, this is gonna sound bad, so they can forcibly take him away from Homelander under Mallory's protection. I'm just like, wait a second, where did this come from? We saw one scene of him in episode 1, nothing from him in episode 2, and then episode 3, suddenly he and Butcher have already had a plan to drug up Ryan. Like, wait, what? Did I miss a meeting between these two? Suddenly they have this fully fleshed out idea to spike Ryan. Wait a second, did I miss something? Let's see. Oh, I also can't help but notice the, very obvious nod to America, real-life America's political side, given the Starlighters and Homelanders, whatever they're called. Wait. Yeah, whatever. The two groups at odds, two different beliefs fighting. Gee, I wonder which side represents Democrats and which side represents liberals. And once again, this show has a bunch... This show has gone woke. Let's face it. This show has gone woke. In the past seasons, they were dunking on woke stuff. They were gags about it. No, this season is straight up gone woke. Instead of mocking woke stuff, they fully embraced it. Anyways, so Homelander has now officially announced to the world the 2 newest official members to the 7. Sister Sage and Firecracker. Like, wait a second. I know he asked Sister Sage to join, but when did he ask Firecracker? What? When did that happen? We find out, because it clearly wasn't mentioned beforehand, I don't think so, we find out that there's this rivalry between Annie and Firecracker. And what we very quickly learn why. It's because, well, Annie was a bit of a bitch to her when they were younger, spreading this horrible rumor that she had to gangbang all the judges in order to even get to the finals or whatnot. And I think she said they were like 13 at the time. Like, Jesus. Annie? Starlight? Our Starlight? She did that? While that is unforgivable, well, is it bad if I say I can relate? No, I didn't do anything as bad, but we were all kids. We all did stupid stuff that has repercussions. I should know, I was rather destructive when I was younger. I did a lot of harm. Anyways. Frenchie and Kimiko, they go off to fight, I forget their name, but you know, the people that did all the wrong things to Kimiko. I don't want to say enslaving her, but borderline, yeah, and making her a trained killer that, you know, the cause for Kimiko's very traumatic childhood. They want to go and take that down, but Huey, he is still beating himself up over his relationship with Colin, because I don't think it was mentioned in previous seasons, he killed Colin's entire family. I don't know, I feel like maybe I missed something? Whatever. So yeah, Frenchie, he's feeling tremendous guilt that he's now sleeping with a guy whose entire family he had killed. So he gets himself high, hallucinogens, and, you know, during the attack on the base or whatever, Kimiko solos all of those bad guys, and Frenchie just runs off, hallucinates all the people he killed. Well, Kimiko actually runs into someone who recognizes her, but we don't see more about that later on. What? We don't see any more of that in this episode. We'll have to know more about that later on. MM and Huey, they actually go... Well, actually, no, before that. MM has this plan to actually have A-Train be their inside man, since A-Train, he doesn't like the Seven as much as, you know, he hates the Seven as much as our characters, the boys, do. And A-Train has already betrayed them by giving them information already. So MM goes and talks to A-Train by, you know, hacking his brother's phone, which... Yeah, and if you think about it, oh yeah, MM and A-Train have never really shared screen time together before. These two have been working on the show together for 3 seasons before this, and they never shared screen time together. Ain't that crazy? So, MM convinces A-Train to help them out instead. Oh yeah, there was also the scene where, you know, the Seven assembled, and they borderline kicked out Ashley. They were saying, Ashley, this is a meeting for the 7, and you're not a member of the 7, so leave. They also essentially fired her from being CEO of Vought. Damn, that's gotta sting. So rightfully, Ashley's pretty pissed off about this, and she's just like, I'm done with this company. Disney has been trying to hire me for years. I am going to quit. I'm going to give in my resignation. And then as she was saying this, it's just this dude tied up in her office. And he's just like, who's a bad boy who's getting ready to be pegged? Just like, what? She goes into her office and there's already this naked guy ready to receive a sore butthole. So a lot of things are just random in this episode that have no build-up whatsoever. The pacing's all over the place. And I can't place my finger on it. Who was that guy? I feel like I've seen that guy in the show before. I can't figure out who he was. He looks different without his clothes on, and that's a very bad thing to say in this case. It's like, damn, I can't recognize him without those clothes on. There was also this scene, so following up on Butcher trying to drug up Ryan. So Ryan is actually playing this, this knockoff Mortal Kombat Injustice game where it's a bunch of characters we've met before. Characters from the 7. So playable characters like Homelander, Queen Maeve, A-Train, Black Noir. There's also playable characters like Soldier Boy, Crimson Countess, Lamplighter. It's like, damn, I kind of want to see that game for real. So Butcher connects online to play with him online somehow. Somehow he was able to do that. Okay. And then he convinces Ryan to meet up because Butcher's dying, he wants to meet up. We get this like borderline hilarious cooking scene of Butcher. He even went so far as to put on an apron to bake the cookies with the drugs or whatever baked right in. We also hear the soundtrack, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, whatever, however the song goes. It's just so wild to see Butcher in this setting baking goddamn cookies. It's so out of character, but hilarious to see. So yeah. Ryan shows up, he tries to give him a cookie, but he's just like, no thanks. Alright. They play foosball instead, and then Butcher finally opens up to Ryan. So it seems like they're cool again. Butcher dumps all the cookies, claiming he messed them up. Added too much sugar. So the plan to drug up Ryan's out the door. So anyways, A-Train gave MM information that Victoria Newman is going to meet up with Homelander at this ice skating rink where they're rehearsing Vought on ice. Oh man, this was brutal. This was bloody and gory. It was horrific and wonderful to see. Is it bad if I say, so far in the entire show, this is like the most horrific thing I've seen yet? This scene here. So, Huey climbs into the vents in order to bug and listen in on the conversation between Victoria Newman and Homelander. Also, Sister Sage was there. Well, it's hot in the vent. Damn it, Huey, I feel like you should have been smarter to wipe up your sweat, even with your sleeve. Whatever. So, he overhears. Homelander wants Victoria Newman once in office to reveal herself as a soup. Yada, yada, yada. One of Huey's sweat drips down the vent and onto Homelander's shoulder. Homelander is able to smell it's Huey. So he just laser beams into the vents. Thankfully, Huey has plot armor, so he's able to get out of there and survive. Homelander accidentally laser beams one of the ice skaters in half. And then, ooh, so much blood, so much carnage. There's panic, trampling. Only this time there's not trampling, because they're on ice skates, so there's a lot of blades cutting off body parts. You see ice skates slice off someone's fingers, you see ice skates slit someone's throat, and I'm just like, are ice skates really that sharp? I don't know, I'm not really good at ice skating, but from what I've seen, the handful of times that I've been ice skating, I don't know if they're that sharp at the bottom. Though I suppose with enough speed, anything can cut body parts off. Anyway, so, yeah, Huey runs out for dear life. Homelander chases. But Huey's gone. How'd that happen? Turns out A-Train saved him. Huey questions why, and A-Train just runs off. So Huey goes to the hospital and finally sits down and talks with his mom. His mom reveals why she left. She was depressed. She was, what, 22 when she had Huey? Damn, that's younger than me now, so I imagine if I was that age and I had a kid already. And let's face it, we all know my mentality is somewhat similar to Huey's mom, so, Only I absolutely would not have abandoned my child under any circumstance. She abandoned Huey because she just felt like she wasn't fit to be a parent. 22 is actually rather young to have kids, you know? Some people can actually handle it. Hell, the moment some people turn 18, 19, they already start having kids. No, that's crazy to me. Was there anything else that happened in this episode? The end of the episode, Deep confronts Sister Sage about, like, firing him from the department he was in. I forget what it's called. They bond over, what, Outback's blooming onion? And then Deep and Sister Sage hook up. Wow, I did not see that coming. There was also a scene where they're trying to find a mole in the company. So, Sister Sage knows that someone leaked information to the Starlighters that, those 3 people killed in the riots were not killed by Homelander supporters. But nobody knows it's A-Train. So, they go through one by one each staff member. And then that one girl who was a background character throughout the first 3 seasons in the logistics department, or no, the crime investigation, whatever, that department. Well, she reveals that, yes, Starlight did call her, and then Homelander lasers her immediately. So that scares Ashley shitless, so now she paper shreds her resignation. I can't even blame her, too. Anything else? There was also a quick follow-up scene between Butcher and Joe Kessel. He's just like, you think that drug was easy to get my hands on? And you just dumped it away. At least there was a follow-up to that. But yeah, this episode's pacing was rather bizarre. It felt like a lot of things were missing, a lot of plot lines were missing. We just jumped from... Can you believe I'm saying this? We jumped from episode 2 to episode 3, and it did not flow whatsoever. We were missing so many story points, we were just literally thrown in. not her. Is that it? Was there anything else about this episode I should mention? So at long last, we're finally discussing these shows again. Sorry it took me so long. A lot of things were happening. New job, relatives coming to visit, dealing with bullshit with my sister. I dealt with a lot of her bullshit today, I swear to God. And I'm so tired because of it. Next time, because I'm now done discussing Iron Fart as well as Squid Game, next time I will only have The Boys and Arcane to discuss. However, for the next 2 parts, unless I get sidetracked again, I have 2 movies to discuss. Remember, I watched Fantastic Four recently, and I still need to talk about that. Plus, another Marvel movie with an asterisk in the title. I'll be discussing that one first. Is this tilted? How long has this been tilted for? Alright, one more show, one more episode to go over. And then I'm going to bed. I need to wake up at 8 tomorrow. Really trying to think of what music to put on. God, I love Skyward Sword. Okay, I really need to pull up Netflix for this, because would you believe I watched this episode of Arcane long ago? And I have not watched the next episode. The hell? How do I mute this?
This creature.
Oh God. Really? Arcane. Wait a second. Arcane. Emmy nominee. Really? Up. Mute. I will say once again, the animation in this episode was crazy. Just like how there were bits last episode, the fight between Jinx and Smeech, that was rather crazy as well. Animation in this episode was pretty intense as well. Did I talk about this episode yet? I don't think I did. Did I? I feel like I did, but oh, wrong episode. No wonder, I'm looking at the wrong episode, that's why. I'm looking at episode 3. What? Did I get the episode wrong? Oh, now I'm confused. Did I even talk about this episode? I think I did. I talked about Jinx and Vi fighting and then the kid getting in the way to save her. I think I talked about this episode. Wait, is this right yet? Is it? It's been so long. I think so. I think I talked about this episode. You know what? No, I didn't. Because now I'm moving on to episode 4. I don't think I've seen this episode. No. This is the right episode. No, I haven't talked about this yet. So episode 3. Episode 3 of season 2. My God, it's been too long. No. Jinx fighting Smeech was episode 2 of season 2. No. Now I'm talking about episode 3. Right. I guess it's been so long, I remember the information in my mind about the episode, but I just don't remember actually discussing it. Anyway, so the episode opens up with... I feel burp coming. Well, it opens up with Caitlyn going through her mother's, the Kiraman transcripts. And then we learn about this toxic gas called the Gray. I don't know, it's depicted as green to me, but the green has already been taken by DC. So, the Gray is a bunch of toxic gas that's in the Undercity that gets filtered up into, you know, the surface air. You know what that reminds me of? What was it, New York? All of the methane in the sewers, they need to be released. Right? So anyways, yeah, they have a plan. Go down to the Undercity, use the Gray to try to smoke out and find Jinx. Because Vi is also ready. Vi has lost hope that her sister is still in there. So not only does Caitlyn want to kill Jinx for what she did to her mother, Vi is also ready to put down her sister because, you know, her sister's long gone. Mel's mother, I forgot her name, meets up with this, like, witch sorceress lady, I guess. Her powers that come from a black rose, I guess, kind of look like gloom hands, don't they? Ganondorf's gloom hands. Anyway, Mel's mother is able to kill this lady, and then, well, there's going to be repercussions, believe that. We get the scene between Caitlyn and Vi talking, opening up, and they finally kiss. Did I not predict this? I knew it. I knew the moment these two met that this is where it was heading. Remember what I said. Don't forget what era this show was made in. So yeah, Caitlyn and Vi, they smooch, and, well, they're together now. Mel's very muscular mother goes and talks to I forget his name. The guy part of the council who was crippled during the attack. I can't entirely remember what they discussed their plan to be. But he did have this furry attending to him, and this furry is an informant for Mel, so she gives her information. Okay, so Jace, Echo, and Heimerdinger, I forgot his name for a second, the three of them are trying to figure out how did Hextech patterns end up on a tree very deep underground. And what did they figure out again? Anyways, oh yeah, they figured out the tomes, the runes. They're a sort of language. Kind of like fingerprints. Anyways, I'm still a little fuzzy on how or exactly what they discovered to realize why it's on the tree as well. So anyways, they go deep underground to this, like, this very mechanical underground room where it's a failsafe, you know? If anything were to ever go bad during hex core experiments or whatnot, the explosion will be down there instead of on the surface, so yeehaw to that. Well, our characters, they found Jinx. So we get this, like, very extreme animated sequence of Jinx fighting Vi. And then we also get this very trippy sequence. This very trippy sequence of the Hex Core, where it is, like, it's trippy is the best thing I can say. Animation was spot on, though, I gotta give them that. And because the Hex Core is kind of going off the fritz, that also affects all of the Hex Core tech that our group is using. So not only is Vi and Jinx fighting to the death, Caitlyn is also fighting against Savika as well. Anyways, it's a very intense sequence with a mic drop moment, and animation is on point. Yeah, you know very well they took a long time to animate this. So that kid that Jinx saved earlier, this kid actually gets in the way of the barrel of the gun and protects Jinx. Well, but it's because of that Savika opened up the gas chamber or whatever. They're able to escape. Yada yada yada. They end up actually damn near bombing the entirety of Zaun. No, not Zaun. Piltover. With very colorful explosions. Why is it different colors? Well, I guess just for illustration. But yeah, Piltover is borderline bombed now with a bunch of rainbow explosions of gas. So, ooh, we all know a war is imminent between the two factions now, between the two cities. Vi is trying to convince Caitlyn, like, what were you doing? There was a kid there. You've lost it. So now a wedge is driven in between these two characters, these two newfound lovers. So that Black Rose thing that died off of that one character now seems to have found its way to Mel for some reason. I don't know. Well, Piltover now meets all these factions together, and they actually appoint Caitlyn Kiraman as their new leader or whatever. They all salute her in their own way by like pounding their chest, I guess. Cool. Can you tell I watched this episode long ago? Because now I'm kind of just blabbering about the episode. So yeah, Caitlyn accepts her new position as whatever her position is. And then we get another ending tease of that one guy. He's getting like blood work done, blood transfusion, but it's being mixed with something else. We don't really know what that's leading to just yet. There you go. A very sloppy explanation, description, discussion on Arcane Season 2, Episode 3. Oh yeah, the blood is going into this like giant dead beast kind of body. We don't see what that's about just yet. There you go. A very poorly explained Arcane. There you go. I'm tired. It's been a long time since I saw the episode. I'm trying to get my ass to bed because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. You're gonna do the same? Okay, now that I have some leftover excess time, let me discuss the bullshit I had to deal with today. Or rather, last night as well. So, you've heard me rant on and on about how I find my sister rather unfair. The bullshit that she puts up with. What? That I put up with her dealing? You know what I'm trying to say. So, my sister, she is able to take days off from work on a whim just like that. And I find that to be rather unfair. Now, the reason she does this is to be with her husband. I've explained many times in the past that my sister's husband, his work schedule fluctuates all the time. He doesn't have a set date, a set day of a set schedule of days off in a week. It differs every single week. This week he could take Monday and Wednesdays off, for example. Next week it could be Tuesday and Wednesday. The week after it could be Monday and Thursday. The next week, Tuesday and Friday. So it changes every week. So because of this, whenever he has a day off, my sister takes a day off so she can be with him. I personally find this rather unfair. Because not only does she just randomly take days off because of her husband's schedule, she still takes her scheduled day off as well anyways. Normally she has Thursdays off, and then she just takes random days off because it aligns with her husband. Take, for example, the other morning. She literally told all of us that morning, by the way, I'm not going to work today. It's like, wow. Not even a heads up. Literally the morning of. That's when you tell us. Alright, so you guys know I have a new job. Ever since I graduated, ever since I got licensed, my mom and sister have been pushing hard to basically kick me out of the family store so that I can get out there, find a job myself. And you've heard me talk before that, you know, my sister takes several days off a week and I'm the one who needs to find a job? Nah, that's crazy. So, my initial plan, all of our initial plan was, once I'm done this new job, I go straight home. I wake up at 8 in the morning to do this job. Regardless of if I just sit there or not is besides the point. I still wake up early and get there on time. So, the plan initially was, because I wake up rather early, once I'm done this job, I come home and rest. Now, I know that's very privileged. Not everyone has that opportunity. So, imagine my disappointment when I'm told, oh, by the way, once you're done there, you need to come over to the family store because your sister's leaving after you get off work and you come take over. I'm just like, what? So, naturally, I'm disappointed by this. You wanted me to get a job and leave, and then you're telling me to come back. I gotta wake up at 8 in the morning, and you're telling me once I'm done, and once I'm done and I'm tired, I still don't get to rest. I gotta go back there because her ass needs to leave. You wanna know what my sister said? My sister said, you got this new job, you act like you don't need to come to the family store anymore. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to instigate, but I'm just like, bitch! You don't have a job yourself and you barely act like you need to go. She takes multiple days off a week. She's able to leave halfway into the day just because I'm able to technically come back after I finish my shift elsewhere. You know, I'm sick and tired of dealing with my sister's crap. I'm at a breaking point where I'm just like, you know what, sister? No. You tell me once I'm done my shift at my other job, I gotta come back so that you can spend time with your husband. How about no? No. I'm going home. I don't give a damn what you say, what you need to do. I don't give two shits. What are you gonna do to stop me? I'm driving my ass home. What the hell are you gonna do? And if she brings up the argument, brother, I have things to do. I have things that I have planned. Well, so do I. Not only could I come home and get some rest, catch up on some sleep, I have things of my own to do. She's gonna make the argument, brother, the things I need to do are important. Unlike you, you're just gonna go home and game. And to that I say, sister, if you don't give a damn about things that I deem important to me, I don't give a damn if you find things important to you that you need to do. Things I find important, if you don't care, then I don't care if you have things that you find important that you need to do. It's that simple. Like, I'm so done with her shit. So next time, if she tells me, brother, you need to come out, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, no. I don't care, I'm going home. Because that's pretty bullshit. The fact that she can just abruptly leave halfway in the day just because it's her husband's day off. Shit, imagine if I did that at my job. Imagine if anyone did that at their job. Oh, boss, by the way, tomorrow I can't make it because it's my spouse's day off. Oh, boss, I gotta do a half day today because, you know, my husband's day off is today, so I gotta be with him. Like, imagine if I did that, you know? Imagine if I was at a job. Hey, boss, I just want to let you know that every single week, I'm gonna have different days that I'm gonna take off. You're not gonna really get any warning. Oh, why am I taking those days off abruptly? It's because my wife, it's her day off, so I'm gonna take the day off to spend time with her. So, you know, sometimes maybe I take Mondays off, sometimes I take Wednesdays off. No warning, of course. I'm just gonna take the days off just to be with my wife because it's her day off. I will be fired instantly. I wouldn't even be considered to be hired if that's the case. So I am absolutely at my breaking point. I'm done with my sister's crap. Well, a couple more minutes and then I'm out of here. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for today. Bye now.